hurling was the defeat of the All-Ireland champions Kilkenny in Leinster that confined them to the qualifiers, where they began the rehabilitation against Dublin. Well, a slightly stiffer test for the champions this evening in Thurles, where they take on Galway. Now in studio with me is the former Galway manager Cyril Farrell and former Wexford star Larry O'Gorman. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed. So how are Galway fixed going into this one, Cyril? This is a big test for both teams, I suppose.
Well, Galway won the league, Michael, but the real test starts today. This is a team that's been developing for the last 2 or 3 years, and like Conor Hayes and the boys believe they have them on the right road. Now, if Kilkenny are slipping a bit, Galway have a fantastic chance of beating Kilkenny and getting Kilkenny out of the championship. But that remains to be seen. Kilkenny got beaten on a day they didn't want to get beaten by Wexford, but on a day they could afford to get beaten. They have regrouped, and it depends what kind of Kilkenny turns up today. It promised to be a great game. I would hope that Galway would win, but it's going to be they'll have to play very, very, very well to win it.
Well, a lot of people used to be talking about Galway for the double in the football and the hurling. Wexford have a great chance of the double this year. They're still involved in both and going very well. Larry, what about this one? What do you fancy?
Yeah, I think maybe Kilkenny. Simple reason, they've been a little bit flat so far in this year's championship. They got a sucker punch again, Wexford, earlier on in the year. It was a warning to everyone else that, you know, Kilkenny are All-Ireland champions. They were going for 3 in a row. You know, Kilkenny have great tradition behind them or whatever. A lot of people say could be a shock on the cards that Galway could beat them. That would be a shock to me anyway, or maybe to a lot of punters or whatever. But I maybe think Kilkenny have that more experience within the camp themselves that could just barely scrape over it.
Yeah, I suppose in fairness, it would be taken away from Wexford to say that Kilkenny kind of lost that day, because Wexford played a stormer in that particular one. Kilkenny won't fancy playing Galway in this, I suspect.
Michael, to me, Kilkenny played better against Wexford than they did when they won the All-Ireland last year. But when you win, you see everything is forgotten about and everything is glossed over. Now, Brian Cody, no better man to try to rectify it. He's rejigged the team. Mulaney's gone wing back. JJ Laney's back out wing back again. Tommy Wells gone corner back. He seems to have a stronger unit out today than he had against Wexford.
Yeah, having said that, I was talking to a couple of Kilkenny people. They're not sure like if the fiddling with the team was done before to good effect, maybe a step too far this time.
Well, it's hard to know. Like, I mean, down in Kilkenny, everyone wants to get on the team, and the players that are brought in today will have to try and prove a point to not only Brian Cody, to a lot of people within the county that they're going to have to be on this team. So they you know, they're down to be up for this as well. Like, and they have a point to prove. Like, I mean, they'll all hell for leather today, because you know they'll chase Galway and they'll hunt for everything that's out there.
All right, gentlemen. Larry thinks that Wexford are going to shade it. Cyril obviously would hope that Galway can shade it. Commentary on this one is by Ger Canning and Michael Dignan.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Building the whole time. They're expecting a fairly big crowd here, somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000. Let's check the team news then for you. Starting with Galway, Conor Hayes and his selectors have gone for consistency by making just one change from the team that beat down in the opening qualifier. Tony O'Gregan is back in midfield alongside Fergal Healy, with David Hayes reverting to centre-half back. David Collins is the one to lose out. The full forward line looks full of potential, led by Eugene Clunan and also featuring Damien Hayes and Kevin Broderick.
Yeah, and I think the key man for Galway today is Ollie Canning, the cornerback. He started out his career as a corner forward, but for the last 3 years he's been back cornerback for Galway, and what a player he's proved to be. I remember the game last year in Salt Hill against Tipperary, where he completely snuffed out Owen Kelly, who was the top forward in the game, and he actually, the joke going around after the game was that Owen Kelly held Ollie Canning to a point in the game. Great player, and I think he'll lead from the front today and won his first championship with Portumna last year.
Yes, he's one of the greats. Well, they're up against the great team, of course, themselves, Kilkenny. And for the All-Ireland champions, James Ryle makes an unexpected return to replace the luckless Mark Phelan at right corner back. Ryle has been given the nod ahead of the more experienced Michael Kavanagh. Elsewhere, Tommy Walsh continues his defensive duties in the other corner. Ken Coogan teams up with Derek Ling in midfield, and Conor Phelan is picked to start at left half forward. Michael?
And the key man again, you know, I suppose it's at this stage we're fed up with it, but Henry Shefflin, to me, when he's on form, he leads the Kilkenny team from the front. What a player he is. Every time he goes out for Kilkenny, he's you know, there's so much expected of him. But today, when Henry Shefflin plays well, Kilkenny play well, and I think if he leads the line today, that Kilkenny will win the game.
The referee for today's match is Diarmuid Curran from Cork, but originally from Offaly, from Ballyskenagh. His father Jerry, of course, refereed the 1988 final, the All-Ireland final between Galway and Tipperary. We're nearly ready. The end of the long weekend of sport here on Network 2 on the Sunday game. 4 matches in all. This is the 4th. Let's hope it's a good one.
Yes, Jared, let's hope for a bit of ground hurling today, Jared. You know, the game down in Kilkenny last night, very scrappy, physical, but no first-time hurling. Let's hope we get a bit of it here and look forward to a great game.
And the pitch, Michael, in brilliant condition here. So Dermot Kerwin checking the watch. 70 minutes ahead of us. 3rd round of the qualifier this is. And after this, of course, we'll have on the Sunday game the draw for the quarterfinals. Cork are there. Antrim are there as Ulster champions. But will it be Galway or Kilkenny there as well? And straight away, pressure on. Great movement here. Damien Hayes, 20 metres out, free in. My goodness, there was a sudden gap there that Galway were in to exploit and should have done something with. Tommy Walsh has been called across by the referee, the UCC student. Having a word with him. Bit of a stern lecture, I think, as well. And the card has been issued.
Well, Jared, a big ask for Tommy Walsh. You know, played all his inter-county career up and forward. Back corner back. Great first-time ball there by David Tierney on the ground inside, and he was caught out of position.
Well, it's going to give a free from just outside the 20-metre line for Eugene Cloonan from Athenry. It should be the opening point, and it is. Galway lead. Now that's a strong breeze that they're playing with this evening, and it must be worth at least 4 or 5 points to them for the first half. We'll have to wait and see. James Ryle tonight playing in his 21st championship match in the Kilkenny colours. DJ Carey and Eddie Brennan have switched corners, by the way. Henry Shefflin making the catch there in the centre half forward position. And the furious David Hayes, who's the nephew of Conor Hayes, the manager, angry with the decision. And for his anger and his protestations, his team are penalised 13 metres. So it's going to be an easier one for Henry Shefflin to puck. Into the breeze then, the Ballyhale Shamrocks man, looking for the equaliser. Well within his range. He makes light of the difficulty. So a bright and lively start.
And Jared, it's great, Henry Shefflin, for all the hurling, but it's great to be able to direct the puck out. We were talking about it last night in Kilkenny. Tipperary and Cork looking for short puck outs, or maybe not, but with Kilkenny they've big men in the half forward and they took the ball long, and you know they've no fears in the air. Henry Shefflin, a great man under the high ball.
Oh, that's dropped by Derek Ling, spills through towards Eugene Cloonan, trying to mop it up there is Noel Hickey. Full back for Kilkenny, of course, they're all star. Galway have it back again, more problems, more pressure. Good stop by the goalkeeper, that effort there by David Ford. James McGarry clearing it away downfield. Spills away out of the hands there of Damien Joyce. The quarterback's under pressure with Jimmy Coogan trying to advance. Referee says play away. Good strong tussling down there. One back by Tony O'Gregan, the giant in midfield for Galway. Coming out to meet it here is Tommy Welsh, booked already. Whips it away to the right-hand side. Trying to keep it in play over there. Fergal Moore decides in the end, why bother? It's going to be a line ball to Galway anyway. Well, two teams who look absolutely up for it. Let's hope it can be played in a wonderful spirit to do credit to the great tradition that is Kilkenny and Galway, meeting for the 25th time in the championship. Kilkenny thus far with 17 wins, 7 victories here for Galway. That's kicked into the centre by Fergal Healy. Galway trying to advance, but again, good strong play by Peter Barry, the centre half back, the James Stephens man. So a free which Richie Mullally is preparing to take. Mullally playing in just his 8th championship match, brother of Paddy, of course. Brooks away off the stick of Ollie Canning that time. They try to keep it in play. Canning again trying to get back, goes side. Fergal Moore was there as well. Good, strong, forceful play, however, by Kilkenny. And it results in some good work by Eddie Brennan in particular, yielding possibilities for the Cats. There was Eddie Brennan, hands and knees. So once again, Henry Shefflin called into the action, just a metre or two out from the sideline. Hits it crisply, delivered accurately between the posts, and Henry's got a second. He looks very sharp indeed. It's going to be quite a battle between Henry Shefflin and his marker, David Hayes. Henry certainly has an advantage in height, in strength and in experience. Also a brilliant turner, of course. Martin Comerford can't hold it. Eddie Brennan trying to wallop it. Back there is David Hayes, centre half back, holding it, balancing. 3 men after him, still Hayes. Comes back the second time to him. He's digging in, and the referee will probably throw it between two. But sheer persistence that time by David Hayes. He was not going to be beaten.
You can see how fired up Kilkenny are. You know, they're chasing and harrying. They're half forward and they're playing way out past midfield, and they're leaving loads of room inside, obviously hoping to get Eddie Brennan or DJ into space to get a goal.
And lots of spaces, lots of gaps here on this beautifully manicured Semple Stadium. Ball was handled on the ground, and it's going to be a free down for Galway. Jimmy Purcell, the groundsman here, was telling me he was out this morning at 8:30 giving it its latest cut. Eugene Cloonan has been brought way out from full forward. He's not going to take it, however. He was prepared to take it, but they decided forget about it. They're leaving it there for Fergal Moore. Down towards Cloonan. His man was slow to pick him up. He's left it behind. Martin Comerford is battling with it. Still Cloonan digging in deep. He's got support. Oh, he bypasses a couple of players, being a little bit too clever. Kilkenny trying to clear their lines under pressure. They finally got it away with Peter Barry getting it forward here into the corner to Jimmy Coogan. His brother Ken is in midfield. In beyond Eddie Brennan. Back there to Tidy. To leave it behind was Ollie Canning, and whipped away by Derek Hardy, but it's the game's first 65. It's fast and it's furious. So a 65 to Kilkenny, but all this while Galway have Eugene Cloonan down on the deck about 20 metres from the Kilkenny goal. There he is. Don't know what happened, but he was involved in that promising attack which absolutely came to naught. Well, it was after he hand-passed the ball, I think, that the fullback Noel Hickey collided with him, possibly with an elbow. And there's a card. It's against Noel Hickey, so two members of the full back line for Kilkenny have already had their names taken. Yellow carded after 7 minutes. And a very groggy looking Eugene Cloonan getting back on his feet. Two teams who mean business, and we could be the beneficiaries with a right good game here. Third of the day, coming to you live on Network 2 on the Sunday game. DJ Carey, his 50th championship match. Scored 2-8 here in 1997 when they played Galway, having been beaten in the Leinster final that year. That's a good start by DJ.
It's a brilliant strike by DJ. Into the wind, 65, easily stroked over the bar. I was watching before the game and he was just tapping them from out the field. You know, to have a free taker like Henry Shefflin and still bring DJ out to take the long ones, it just shows you how good he is at them.
It also shows you, Michael, how at this standard a promising Galway attack ended up with a score at the other end for Kilkenny. You can't afford to make errors. That was David Ford there, a bustling centre half forward. Free to Galway. That's Ford in with the challenge. In there as well was David Tierney. Free for Eugene Cloonan to hit. Well, the free takers are dominating, and all of the 5 points have come from place balls. Strange after nearly 9 minutes of play. Conor Hayes, the Galway manager, the man who captained them to All-Ireland glory in 87 and 88, the only Galway man to ever do that. Fergal Moore under pressure from Martin Comerford, coming across to Tidy is Conor Hayes' nephew David. Under pressure also Ollie Canning. Great pace, that's Eddie Brennan. Good movement, but the final shot was just a little bit wide of the target. but in the blustery conditions we have tonight and the very tight angle there, that was never going to be easy. There is a good crowd here. They were a bit worried because of the 6:15 start. Needn't have worried. People will always come from anywhere to see a game between two of the best in the code. David Ford has it broken down. Tierney tries to get onto it. But look at the way Kilkenny are working, battling for one another. Deprived of the Leinster Championship, beaten for the league as well. Galway are the league champions, but Kilkenny have the chance to retain the All-Ireland still in this battle of the champions in Semple Stadium. Referee again nipping in to throw the ball in. It's going to be Martin Comerford against Fergal Moore. Comerford trying to use his legs to gain an advantage. In there as well was Conor Phelan, the number 12. Taking it out of a ruck of players and moving well out of midfield. That's a very good effort, and that is Derek Ling with the first point of the game to come from play. It takes nearly 10 and a half minutes. Just look at how Derek Ling emerged with possession here and hit it with great aplomb right between the uprights. It's 4-2. Galway with the wind, not getting the opportunities so far. This is Damien Hayes. Good angle shot, that's a great point. This guy could cause a lot of problems for Tommy Walsh. And you sensed that before the game. Walsh was fired up, got himself a yellow card earlier on. And here he is under pressure. And that was a great point by Hayes. Well, Conor Hayes will be very pleased to get that point from play there on the boards. One between them. Good catch by Derek Hardiman. Missed last year during the championship and he was a big loss. Down there towards Tierney and Ford. Away by Derek Ling again. Such a good midfield player. Balanced on the stick there by Shefflin. Beautiful delivery from Martin Comerford to hammer it home. That is a great point. Wonderful skill by a number of players. Shefflin with the layoff. Comerford with the delivery. And it came from that ball out of midfield. Look at the layoff. So quick. Beautiful execution. Kilkenny at their best. 5-3 up.
Great start to the game, Gerard. You know, it's a real championship game. Both teams are going hell for leather for every ball. Absolutely brilliant start. Great championship hurling.
Richie Mullally. It's a great start. Up towards Jimmy Coogan, taken off against Wexford. That was the Leinster semi-final. It's behind the ball now at this stage, and Kilkenny mean business. Inside there towards DJ Carey, taking it down is Eddie Brennan, and he whips it high and puts it over. Great score by Brennan, the man who had a wonderful campaign last year up until the final itself. He started well here, took it down beautifully and connected sweetly. 6-3, it's all go. Galway trying to win their puck out, doing really well here. And a bit of fouling there by JJ Delaney. The man he was fouling was Alan Kearns.
And Gerard, we're seeing again today, the same as the Munster final when Cork played against the wind in the first half. It creates more room for your forwards because the half forward are working way out the field and they're leaving room inside for the full forward line. So every time a ball goes in, it's dangerous.
Here's Derek Hardiman dropping into the half forward line. Won well, however, beautifully cleared out of defence there by Tommy Walsh, the man about whom there were questions asked. That's a great delivery up as far as Conor Phelan lost the stick, played it inside beautifully to Jimmy Coogan, and the referee says too many steps were taken, 45 metres out from the Galway goal, and it's a free out. The crowd from Kilkenny does not appreciate it. Watch this for a catch. The stick was dropped then, progress was made, but too many steps were taken. It's a free the other way. Diarmuid Cloonan coming out to take this free. Brother of Eugene. Playing it down towards Eugene, trying to nurse it to himself. They're trying to clear it there. Mullally's on his hands and knees. They're trying to get it out there. Difficult times for the Kilkenny backs. Pressure from Galway's half forwards there. Tierney's about, but so too JJ Delaney, last year's hurler of the year. After all the football, some wonderful hurling here at Semple Stadium as Diarmuid Cloonan knocks it down into the corner. Nursing it there to himself, David Ford, right on the line. Line ball, Galway's way. Well, it really has been played at a fast and furious pace. Players of great skill, great intuition, blessed with wonderful talent. And Brian Cody calling the shots for his team. It would be some achievement after the loss in Leinster and their league before that, when they were in different form, to come back and win 3 in a row. That's their target. The target now for Galway is to hit the target at the other end. But again, Tommy Walsh coming out, tripped. He started really smartly. It's going to be a battle between Tommy Walsh and Damien Hayes in that corner. One to savour. Tommy was honoured recently by the university he attends, which is UCC, one of their star pupils and star athletes. McGarry inside his own 45-metre line. Huge one up towards Henry Shefflin, drops it down. Again, it's beautifully in by Coogan. Shefflin following in, and Shefflin touching it in over the goal line. In the 16th minute of the first half, the pressure on the Galway backs paying off, and Shefflin just about directing it goal bound. Coogan was involved, played it ahead, but Shefflin takes the credit, and Shefflin has got another vital goal for Kilkenny, his 12th in championship history. And that's going to be a Kilkenny ball. Went off Tommy Walsh and off the legs of Damien Hayes, and Brian Cody is very, very happy indeed. So 1-6 to 3 points. 16 minutes of the match gone. What about the goal, Michael?
Yeah, great vision from Jimmy Coogan. He's a player, you know, he's been on and off the Kilkenny team, and he gets a little bit of abuse from his own supporters, but he's having a great start to the game, and he showed great vision there today off the ball. And Henry, as usual, the little flick, he scored many goals like that. When he gets in there, the goals, he's deadly.
That's amazing, because Tommy Walsh got a very short line ball, almost got his team into trouble, and then came back to rescue them with the clearance. Talk about rescuing. Here's Derek Hardyman into the middle. Ford is calling for it. Bustling centre half forward. Nice ball down again to the one man you don't want to give it to, Tommy Walsh. Dropped under to Henry Shefflin. Coogan's there about as well. Good play by Tony O'Gregan towards Eugene Cloonan. They've got the win, they've got to use it first half. They need a few scores. Cloonan half blocked that time by Noel Hickey. Quite a battle they're having. Hickey's back in to try and help out again, but it comes out to Eugene Cloonan. A block this time is by Ken Coogan. Ken, the Waterford IT student. Fed forward by Ford. Referee allows play to continue. Some Kilkenny people play said it was thrown. Still the pressure is on the Kilkenny backs. Hickey, tidy as you like, but doesn't get it too cleanly away. Comes back to a Galway player. Back to Eugene Cloonan, dropped down again. What blocking! Magnificent play, as if their lives depended upon it. Comes out to Damien Hayes. Hurley went in. Dangerous play that time by James Ryle, and it's a free in. Wow, what pressure we're seeing.
Unbelievable passage to play, Ger. Eugene Cloonan had 3 chances, blocked down 3 times, but in fairness to Damien Hayes and the Galway forwards, they kept battling for the ball and deservedly won a free at the end. But you know, they're fighting for everything. But Kilkenny are really, really fired up. They look like a team, their pride is hurt, and they're putting everything into it today.
There's an awful long way to go, and they've got to maintain this intensity. What a block that was. Brilliant by J.J. Delaney. Meanwhile, Eugene Cloonan, normal service resumed. He's put over his 3rd, but they're all from frees. So 1-6 to 4 points. Just watch again this goal by Kilkenny, and Coogan playing it through, almost a throw. Followed in there, as you saw, by Henry Shefflin. Battled in midfield there. One back again. This time it's Derek Ling. Ling going through the eye of a needle. Fouled in the end by David Ford. Be careful there, he could have been caught for over-carrying. Well, the players are going to need a few seconds just to get a bit of a breather after the enormously fast start that they have had here. Both teams injecting an enormous amount of pace into the game. Derek Ling dropped in dangerously again. This time it's Diarmuid Cloonan opting to kick it out of defence, but Galway look rattled.
Yeah, it looks like if Galway don't get a score or two, Kilkenny, the way they're going, if they get another point or two, they could pull away from Galway and put them away by half time the way things are going.
It's going to be Derek Ling to cut this one in towards Martin Comerford's side. Back there is Fergal Moore. Henry Shefflin regrouping. They try to win it back here and try to get some opportunities. Ken Coogan playing it forward for Martin Comerford again. Slightly off balance, and he hits it magnificently. Martin Comerford has struck a second point, 2 from 2 for the captain of Kilkenny this year. And Fergal Moore, the number 7 of Galway, is having his difficulties. It's a huge task. It's a big step by Kilkenny to move Martin Comerford this year out from full forward, out to the wing. They used to do it during games in the past, but they've started him there now, and that's where they look like they mean business. Derek Ling way down, Ollie Canning defending against Eddie Brennan. Canning way down, Tony O'Gregan breaking it to himself, 65 metres out from the Kilkenny goal. They need scores, it's a huge one in, and it has gone wide. First wide of the match, first wide by the Galway player involved, Tony O'Gregan. Once again here, Ollie Canning. So the scoring opportunities for both teams so far make interesting reading, I believe. And 8 for Kilkenny out of 9 so far, and 4 taken for Galway out of 9 as well.
See, Damien Hayes gone into full forward now, Gerard, and Eugene Clune in the corner, and Noel Hickey and Tommy Walsh have moved with them. So obviously, wherever they moved, Tommy Walsh is going to stay on Damien Hayes. He has the pace for him.
Referee just wants the play to be speeded up a little bit. Fergal Moore catching it well. Broken down again. They need to get players like Kevin Broderick into the action a bit better, Galway. Tommy Walsh there pressurised. It spills loose to Alan Kearns. Kearns trying to get the hand pass through. JJ Delaney getting in his way. And then the referee sees a chop down, which the Kilkenny fans are wondering about. And Brian Cody's on the edge of the field here. He's wondering as well.
It's not happy to see Brian Cody coming out. He's out 5 yards onto the pitch there. He's absolutely furious. It looks like a fair tackle. We'll watch it again here. There's nothing wrong with that.
That ball is there to be played.
The ball is there. We saw a few decisions like that last night as well, Any sort of a tackle now seems to be a free.
Well, it's a shame to spoil the game in that fashion. Meanwhile, it's Eugene Clune, and he won't mind if he can get the score, but he can't.
Justice is done, I think.
Big cheers up at the town end. The Kilkenny fans there in huge numbers.
It's a typical Kilkenny performance, that they're soaking up all the pressure now from Galway, and you can see the confidence, maybe drifting out of some of the Galway players, and Kilkenny are creating loads of room inside, and they're going to create more goal chances.
Well, they need to stand shoulder to shoulder with Kilkenny right to the 70 minutes if they're to have any chance. Henry Shefflin, nice solo run, hit the ground once, now he's lost it, then almost hooped. It's still Henry Shefflin, stopped by Liam Donoghue, gets it on his left side, which is his favourite side. JJ Delaney batting it down towards Peter Barry. Ford is there for Galway, the number 11. They win it in midfield. That's Ken Coogan of Kilkenny. Cross towards Eddie Brennan's corner. Ollie Canning trying to establish mastery in that sector. Trying to keep Martin Comerford away from him. Down into the inside forward position. Broderick chasing after it. Coming out for it is Tommy Welch, reading the game so well. Beautiful pick up. And walks through the sideline. Fouled, free to Kilkenny. That's great skill. What reading by the number 4. He's playing the game at number 4, the left corner back position, like a man who's been playing there all of his life.
And Gerard, when you consider the game he had at wing forward in the Leinster final, he was the best Kilkenny player by a mile, absolutely outstanding. And there he is back corner back. It shows his versatility. What a hurler.
2 points that day, Michael. 2 points. Well, at college he's been played in defence. He's played there at club level as well, of course. And some people in Kilkenny were saying, well, it's only a matter of time before he establishes himself as part of the Kilkenny rearguard. Mullally in some trouble. Hickey pressurised, coming into it is Broderick. They need Kevin Broderick to motor, and he's hit this one over. His first opportunity.
I think he's the danger manager. That's the first ball he's got, and he's got to score. But James Riley last year was a little bit dodgy at cornerback, and I think if Broderick gets the ball, he can be very dangerous to Galway.
Remember the point he got in the 2001 semi-final, looping it up over the half-backs? One of the scores I remember in the last 5 years. There's a substitution being made by Galway. Adrian Cullinan will be coming into the action presently. Hardyman, whoops, tussling in there with Conor Phelan. Whipped forward by JJ Delaney, batted way down by Damien Joyce, a very tidy corner back. Mention of good backs, that's Noel Hickey, one of the best around. Ken Coogan taking the challenges in midfield, didn't make a good connection. Reaching low and picking it up well there, smartly out of defence. And that's going to be a line ball to Kilkenny. Good work by Joyce just before that. So Fergal Healy from Crockwell is going off, and Galway are bringing Adrian Cullinan into their team. He's gone straight into midfield. Delaney, not a good connection, comes back. One-handed by Kearns, went over Kilkenny's stick. It's going to be a line ball to Galway. 10 minutes to the break. Great action, great excitement in Thurles. 1-7 for Kilkenny, 5 points for Galway. But the breeze behind the men of the West for the opening half. On a day when we've seen Armagh very convincing winners in Croke Park in the Ulster final against Donegal, and the Munster football final end all level. Let's see who can win here. There would be extra time. May not be necessary as David Tierney advances, goes beyond Mullally. Tierney checking his stride, hit by the goalkeeper, stopped well by James McGarry, and cleared way out of danger. That was a golden opportunity for Galway to strike for their first goal. Meanwhile, the counter-offensive. Comerford is bottled up, and Galway are now doing what Kilkenny did earlier on. They're grouping well, playing as a unit, playing for one another. Whoa! Very high challenge. Very high challenge indeed. Derek Ling could be in difficulty. Player down is David Hayes. Watch again here. A high neck clothesline type tackle. Not in any book of rules. This is the move a little while ago here, which was saved by the goalkeeper. Watch McGarry, a very resourceful goalkeeper. What has he to do to win an All-Star? Well, there is concern now about David Hayes. And that is a yellow card for Derek Ling. So 3 of the Kilkenny players have been carded. Still a lot of concern about the centre-half back, David Hayes from Kiltormer. Both sides are fired up, really fired up. Loss at this stage means the end of the season for them as an inter-county team. And here we are, just the 11th of July. Long way to go between this and All-Ireland final day. He's okay. Eugene Clunan to hit the free. Meanwhile, Kevin Broderick is off being checked for a blood substitution, and Ollie Fahy, not for the first time in recent matches, has come on as the blood substitute. So this to narrow it down to a 1-1 difference as Eugene Clunan puts it over. He's got 4 points of Galway's tally. Flawless performance from him from frees. So 1-1 between them.
It was a very high tackle, Gerard. Just reflecting on it there, Peter Barry, there was intent in it, and you've seen players sent off for less in the past. I'm not saying he slipped in under him, but it was very high, and there was definitely intent in it.
Pressure on the Galway backs. DJ Carey coming out, and straight away a couple of players coming to him. Bees at a honeypot, coming straight and spotting the danger man. DJ, as ever, scored from a 65 already. He's angered by the challenges, and the referee, I think, telling him to calm it down a little bit. It's going to be a free in. Kilkenny have got their free. Henry Shefflin will take it. Scorer of goal and 2 so far. And this was Diarmuid Clunan there challenging DJ. and DJ quite correctly not one bit pleased with the challenge.
I think it was the afters of it more so than the foul, you know. And Gerald, last night as well, that type of nonsense, you know, lads staying in there and keeping close to that and bumping off him and pulling out his helmet and that sort of thing. It creates, we saw 3 or 4 instances of it last night. There's no place for them hurling as far as I'm concerned.
Henry staying nice and cool, nice and calm, and the scorer now of a goal and 3 points out of a goal and 8. The fans, I think, are enjoying it. It's a really good contest. Lots to talk about, lots to enthuse about. Derek Ling coming out of midfield again. Broken down here well. Nice control. Setting off once more is DJ. That familiar injection of pace taking on Dermot Cloonan. He might have fouled him the last time. He's not fouling him this time. The other man trips him instead, and there are too many steps taken. And it's going to be a free out. Listen to the roar, the loud voices, the roaring from both sets of fans, the cheering for DJ, and then the referee says too many steps as Derek Hardyman came across, and it's a free out. It doesn't meet with universal approval.
No, he did. He took 6 or 7 steps in the Leinster final against Wexford. He was also pulled by the same referee as well that day, so obviously he's looking out for it, and he's got a lot of goals over the years. Wexford and Offaly people know that, among others, in 10 and 12 steps.
Kilkenny, Michael, they say there were small steps.
There were fast ones and they were effective. Cost us Leinster medals.
That is a great catch. Peter Barry, imperious there at centre-half back. And it's going to be a free which James McGarry is going to take. The sun has gone down. It's still quite windy, but I can think of worse ways of spending a nice Sunday evening. We're all enjoying it. 3 minutes to go, or a little more than that, to half-time. McGarry trying to initiate another Kilkenny score. They've always looked dangerous whenever the ball has been down that end of the field. Here they come again. Conor Phelan now. Well, not quite measuring it as he would have wished, Conor Phelan. An under-21 star last year when he was man of the match and scorer of 1-4 against Galway in that under-21 final, which was also here in Semple Stadium. Kevin Broderick is back in, and Ollie Fahy once again withdrawn. Didn't hear how many extra minutes are to be played, didn't see the board just yet. 3 minutes of the 35 still to go. Pressure once again being exerted by JJ Delaney up towards Martin Comerford. They seem to have just that little bit of an edge in sharpness and in physique. Ollie Canning tried to negate that somewhat. Batted back down by James Ryle, almost tennis actually. Line ball. Adrian Cullinan, the fresh man in, preparing to take this sideline ball.
Just the last 10 minutes or so, though, Galway come back into the game, and the spark has gone out of Kilkenny a little bit. If Galway could get a point or two before half-time, you know, they'd be right back in this game.
Broken down here by Richie Mullally. Eugene Cloonan was coming in late. It went off Mullally, and that is a 65. Puzzled look on Richie's face. Richie has had to battle with injuries over the years. Came on as a sub for his brother Paddy in last year's All-Ireland final. There he was, trying to keep it in play. Eugene Cloonan takes them in short, takes the frees out long. His tally so far 4 points, all from frees. And that is after going wide. Bad miss. 3 wides now for Galway.
And he missed a free a minute ago, Jerry. You know, that'd be 2 more points, and Galway, you know, they'd be within a goal going in at half-time and set 5 points down.
Got to be 2 extra minutes. Michael, you made the point about how Kilkenny are using the half-forward line to create space inside against the breeze. They'll have the advantage for the next 35 minutes, and Galway haven't made the headway they would have expected.
No, and the one thing about the Kilkenny backs when they get the ball, they know they can clear it up the field, high or low. It doesn't matter, because the forwards will fight for everything.
There's Ken Coogan from the middle, up towards Eddie Brennan. They've got a man over, Henry Shefflin, and they missed the opportunity. They mixed up between them. Ollie Canning got in with the challenge. Galway now trying to clear their lines. And there's a Kilkenny player down on the ground. The referee is calling across Derek Hardiman. The Kilkenny player involved was Conor Phelan. And the notebook is out. So Derek Hardiman about to get himself a yellow card. So it brings to 4 the number of cards. Change of Hurley for Derek Hardiman. It'll be a free in and a chance to push home Kilkenny's advantage, leading by 1-2 right now. This is the reason why that free was awarded, a wild pull, one-handed by Hardiman.
Credit Conor Phelan there as well, Jerry. Hop straight up, you know, even hurl broken off him. If that was last Sunday, there'd be a Portuguese player rolling around still out in the pitch.
That's the Portuguese hurling team. Henry Shefflin, meanwhile, a goal and 4 points. So 1-8 to 6 in a match which so far has yielded a total of 24 scoring chances, 1-9 to 6 I should say. Kilkenny with 13 scores made out of 10 scores made out of 13, and Galway 6 out of 11. It's not good enough from a Galway point of view. They will be concerned. There'll be much talking to be done. If they're good enough, they have 35 minutes to rescue their season and stay in the championship. They've got to show they're able to master Kilkenny. Hardiman whipping it down into the corner, and Tommy Walsh has switched across to stay with Damien Hayes. Clears it back down towards Eddie Brennan, trying to keep it in play. Succeeds. Shefflin standing his ground, feeding it back, but he touched it out over the line, and it's going to be a line ball to Galway. We're in time added on. 2 minutes of extra time to be played at the end of this opening half.
I think all will have to do something in the middle of the field and the half forward. They find it very, very hard to win any possession out around the middle of the field. You know, unless they do, they've no chance in the second half.
Those were the 2 areas of great concern coming into the match for Galway, and the questions haven't been answered, at least not to Galway's satisfaction. Tommy Walsh, what a masterful performance. A huge one down. Ollie Canning, a strip to was he? Play continues. It's in the back of the net. No, it's not going to count. Eddie Brennan was racing in afterwards. The referee, a good 50 metres away from the action, blew the whistle. The goal doesn't count. It's still 1-9 to 6 points. Watch Ollie Canning going back, and watch for a tangle coming up very shortly. Was there any contact?
No,
I didn't see it.
He tripped himself, and the ref was very late with the whistle as well.
Well, Eddie Brennan was denied a legitimate goal. Meanwhile, at the other end, Galway may benefit. Broderick striking, and Broderick has scored his second. Or not Broderick, rather. It's Damien Hayes has scored his second.
Some battle between the two of them in there. Tommy Walsh is having the blinder. Damien Hayes has 2 points scored and was, you know, fouled for at the very first minute. He was through for a goal and he was fouled. So he's doing his bit as well, even though Tommy Walsh is playing very well.
So 1-9 to 7 when it could be 2-9 to 6. Talking points aplenty then. We've now got a sliotar returned. Obviously there are plenty of souvenir keepers here in Semple Stadium. The lighter hurling ball, of course, in recent years, for quite a long time now, has meant that the ball bypasses midfield from puckouts like this one here and lands into the half-forward line, hence the pressure on the backs. And they stand firm on this occasion. Good play by Tony O'Gregan. Ryle can't hold it, needs JJ Delaney right on the end line. Referee's quite close to it, didn't go over. On the end line rather, sideline rather, it's Delaney here, stumbling, fouled from behind by Alec Kearns. Free to Kilkenny. Still about another 40 seconds to be played, but significantly Kilkenny in the ascendancy. Derek Ling, big one in, broken down by Comerford. They tried to advance and the referee's whistle sounds. Kilkenny a bit annoyed, they felt they were in an attacking position. Henry Shefflin's having words with the referee Diarmuid Kerwin, all quite immaterial because they're going to the break here in Semple Stadium. Kilkenny were the better team. Galway had the wind, and at half-time it's 1-9 to 7 points.
Brian Cody's having the right go to referee here, Ger. Brian Cody's in the face of the ref running off the pitcher. Never seen him reacting like that before.
He certainly is. Brian Cody is furious, really, really angry. We're going to go down to the sideline and get some reaction after all of that. Our reporter this evening down by the sideline is Con Murphy.
Thanks, Ger. Well, I'm with Noel Skehan and Pierce Piggott, selectors with Kilkenny and Galway respectively. Noel, a controversial finish to the first half there, and Brian Cody didn't seem too pleased.
Sure, these things will happen in big games like that, so like, you know, we didn't get the goal, so it's gone now, and you just have to forget about it and carry on. That's it, like, you know.
You didn't get the goal, but things seem to be going according to plan.
We're playing quite all right, like, you know, we're doing okay, and I suppose playing against that breeze, like, you know, you have to be happy enough, like, you know.
Noel, thanks. We'll let you in there. I know you want to get in. Pierce, thanks for being with us as well. A lot of work to be done.
A lot of work to be done. Very strong wind there. We play with the wind. Started very nervous. Suddenly realised we're in a championship game. In fairness, we're not used to this pace of a game, you know. So we just have to deal with it. We'll go in and regroup, and we'll come out and be honest and do the best we can.
You've made one change in personnel already. Can we see other changes?
Yes, we'll regroup, and what we have in our head we'll keep to ourselves, and hopefully you'll see it in the second half.
Okay, Pierce, thanks very much indeed. We'll hand it back to you now in the studio, Michael.
Thanks, Con. Yeah, they're thinking in Galway that they're not up to the pace of the game, but the way the Kilkenny have played, gentlemen, I couldn't see anybody be up to the pace of that. They're really, really fired.
Far more fired up than Galway, Michael. Like, to beat Kilkenny, you have to go at them. You can't stand off them. Now, fair play, Galway fought back into it and came back strong into it. But, like, the Galway under pressure, half-back line, the puck-outs, even though against the breeze, Kilkenny have the breeze, coming down to half-hour line, they're winning a lot of ball. Shefflin is good in there, Comfort is good in there, and Conor Phelan. Now, as it went on, Galway came into it more. But, like, once they got the ball in their hand, they walked it through. And, like, Galway are lucky they're not down more because, you know, that last goal, I think Ollie Cannon more or less tripped himself. And it's no wonder. Cody will just show you the pressure. Brian Cody is usually calm. But the pressure he's under to win today, but he has the fellas under the same pressure, and so far they're delivering. Now they have the breeze, like as Pierce Piggott said there, Galway will have to regroup. The breeze won't win it for Kilkenny. If they keep hurling the way they are hurling at the moment, they should win it, but like it's hard to keep that intensity up for 70 minutes.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it from Galway's point of view is they were bailing out all over the place, and yet they're still in the game. I mean, it's still there for them if they can settle down.
That's true, yeah, Michael. Eugene Clune have scored 4 points from frees, and then Damien Hayes and then Ken Burdick on the other side. That's where most of their scores are coming from. They've got to get the ball in a lot quicker into the full forward line. They're struggling in, as Cyril said, in the half forward line, maybe the midfield, half back line, where Kilkenny are dominating it. But in all areas of the field, Kilkenny seem to have a bit of luck, because every time the ball breaks off, it ends up in the Kilkenny man's hand as well. But Kilkenny are fired up for this. They're after getting 4 or 5 yellow cards as well. And I tell you, I said earlier on, these guys are not going to die and lie down or anything here. These are fired up for it. Now in the second half, it's up to Galway. They can put the challenge up to these now. Tear into them from the word go, give it their best, and you know, you never know. You know,
they should show them the tape of the Wexford game. I can tell you, fire them up fairly fast. We must take another break. Stay with us now, that we're going to have more on this All-Ireland Hurling Qualifier. This year's championship, they lead Galway by 1927 points. We had to wait a while for a score, Cyril, in this game from play, and then when they came, Kilkenny took some really, really good points. We picked out one now, Martin Comerford's point as an example, but this kind of showed how they gelled the whole thing together. Yeah, well, it shows you that they're good under the high ball. Again, Shefflin is very heavily involved here. You're going to see this ball cleared out here now, flicking away here by Lane. Now Shefflin gets onto this ball, little touch on here, beautiful pass across onto Comfort and bang over the bar. 3 people involved, but should know that they were running with purpose and laying it off brilliant to another. It doesn't happen that often like in hurling. It was a beautiful flick. Again, just a little reverse pass, took everyone by surprise, no one near him. He's not going to miss them kind of balls. The 3.5 forward are strong underneath the ball, and so far they're on top. Now in the last 5 minutes or 10, Galway have come into it, but they'll have to come into a lot more of that back line, otherwise they're going to be taken apart. Well, they're in all kinds of trouble there, and that's then kind of obviously putting pressure on their full back line. We saw the Kilkenny goal, then Shefflin getting at the end of this particular one. They could have had more than this. They could have had a couple of more goals earlier on, alright, but you know, Shefflin's goals, you know, once again on the edge of the square, most goals come from the edge of the square. If you keep chasing, keep hassling, keep working your way in, the ball was just flicked in by Jimmy Coogan, Shefflin in, little flick of the hurl, ball in the back of the net. Yeah. Kilkenny's tail was up then. They were on the ball, you know, they were fired up for it, and that goal certainly raised their gallop from as well. Even though it's still only 9 to 7 points, you know, I thought Kilkenny could be another 4 or 5 points up, but you know, there's only 5 points in it. They certainly played hard enough to be another few points up, there's no doubt about that. But you know, this goal again, Shefflin's. Oh yeah, sure. Like as I say, like I mean, Shefflin has been involved in most of Kilkenny's play and scores. And once again, like I mean, he's out centre forward. I've seen him back in midfield, maybe in a half back there once or twice, picking up a ball as well. And then
2 or 5 seconds later he's on the edge of the square.
Well,
putting the ball
nothing like
into
a
the
class act was prepared to work as well in any particular game. We were talking earlier on about Tommy Walsh being moved back into the cornerback position, and he also kind of showed us the kind of fire that these lads are playing with there, getting stuck in.
Yeah, Michael, Tommy Walsh could play him anywhere. He's a tearaway hurler. He loves going to the ball. I suppose his best position could be wing back or midfield, but the way the Kilkenny line out is here again. You see this fella, he's attacking the ball. Now he's on David Hayes, was very fast. Gets it, gone, and it'll flick away. Now 3 out there. First minute Hayes got away from him. Now Hayes is still playing hard. He's got his 2 points, got a free or two off, and like, and only Hayes is so tenacious, he'd be in real trouble. But Tommy, you could play him anywhere. He'd wind up probably midfield in time to come for Kilkenny, but at the moment, like, they need him in there to show his pace. But Damien Hayes is still very dangerous.
If you were in there, Cyril, now with that Galway team as their manager, what would you be looking to do in the second half to try and change this?
Well, I'm looking to the half-back line to stand up and be counted. You know, you have to Hardiman, Hayes, Moore and centre feed kind of non-existent so far. Fergal Healy's gone off. Okay, they've Cullen on there, Antonio Gregan. That 5 have to come into it. That triangle has to get on top. If not, you're going to be beaten. But they have to take wallops, get stuck in and kind of drive forward. Like, David Hayes, he's holding his own centre back, but he's only standing there. Shefflin is walking down the middle. You can't let a centre forward do that.
Mm-hmm. In actual fact, you know, if you look at it, a couple of years ago, Galway were winning handy in the first half against Kilkenny, and Kilkenny showed in the second half what you can do when you get stuck in.
Yeah.
They came along and won the game.
Well, Cyril said that, like, you mean, the half-back line midfielders, they've got to be prepared to take punishment, maybe lose a bit of skin off their knuckles or whatever the case may be. But if they're not going to stand up and be counted for now, I guarantee you, Kilkenny will up the galloping now again in the second half. So it's the guys in midfield and half-back line have got to stop Shefflin and Cumberland and these guys going forward all the time. And if they can do that, they're in with a great chance. But if they can also stop the ball going into the Kilkenny full forward line, that's another key thing as well. Now, DJ and the boys have been starved now for a certain period of the first half. If they stop the ball going into them, like, you mean, they're going to drift out the field more, and then it's going to clog up everything for Kilkenny or whatever. So, you know, it's in Galway's hands now. They've nothing to lose, only give it a lash the second half.
It's in Galway's hands, but it's a hard day's work for some of those lads, I think, for the second half, and indeed the second half of Galway versus Kilkenny coming up right after this commercial break.
Just started the second half, and I can tell you that Galway have made a change in midfield. New midfield pairing is David Hayes and David Collins. Collins is on in place of Alan Kearns. So we'll see if the remedial action produces the benefits that Galway are hoping for. Antonio Gregan, by the way, has been switched back to centre half-back. Alan Kearns is the player who has made way. Meanwhile, Kilkenny have brought DJ Carey all the way back into his own half-back line for this free, which is, well, it's a good 80 to 90 metres out. Wind is behind him, and Kilkenny lead by 1-9 to 7 points. DJ has hit a 65 already. This is a good 30 metres longer than that. Wind behind him, but there's no great direction, and the ball has gone wide. It was worth a try. Well, Brian Cody really fired up this evening here, having lost the Leinster Championship. The semi-final defeat to Wexford will have hurt Kilkenny greatly. They don't want to lose their way in their quest for 3 in a row of Liam McCarthy Cups. Big prize for Galway as well. As Cyril Farrell was saying back in studio, their half-back, their midfield has to stand up to the test, which is bound to be a stern one. So a new midfield, let's see how Galway can manage under pressure straight away. Not the greatest of connections by Ken Coogan, but picked up here well by his midfield partner Derek Ling, having a go and driving it wide. 4 wides now for Kilkenny. Michael Duignan is alongside me here. Michael, you do get the feeling this evening that Kilkenny are serious about this. They really do want to do the business and do it smartly.
Yeah, they're really fired up. They're going for 3 All-Irelands in a row. They're still in the championship, right? They lost the Leinster final, but they've won 6 in a row, you know. And deep down, it's the All-Ireland they'd be concerned about. And, you know, if they win this game today, there's nobody looking forward to playing them in the rest of the championship.
Galway trying to exert a bit of pressure themselves, trying to cope with the onslaught of Kilkenny. That's away by David Hayes, by Ollie Canning rather, up into the corner. Just about kept in play by Eugene Clunan. Ball is out. Line ball to Kilkenny. Eugene not too pleased. I think that point that Pierce Piggott, one of the Galway selectors, made in the interview with Con Murphy just before half-time was interesting, where he was saying, we're not used to this kind of pace, this kind of intensity that Kilkenny are demonstrating.
Yeah.
Of course, they had the chance of playing in the Leinster Championship.
Yeah, and they also, the draw was a bit unlucky for them. They got down. If they got one of the bigger teams, even if they lost, they were still in the championship. But that's the look of the draw. And they're into an All-Ireland quarter-final stage or whatever every year without playing any matches. So, you take your chances, I suppose.
Certainly do. Ken Coogan taking his chance here, out as far as James Ryle. Ryle coming, thundering through. Not a great clearance, however. Stopped by Fergal Moore. A lot of hurling to be played in this championship qualifier. Round 3 of the Guinness Championship. That's come well there by Richie Mullally. Wing back for Kilkenny, way down towards Jimmy Coogan. Broken by Coogan. Martin Comerford playing it wide outside here to Henry Shefflin. There's nobody on him, and there's a man inside. He didn't need him. He went for the score himself. Kilkenny are very happy with the point, and that's a goal and 5 now for Henry Shefflin. He had a free man inside. Such was the poor shape of the Galway defence. Watch as he hits this one over the bar, because Eddie Brennan was waiting inside and he wanted to use him.
He's a master at that, though, Ger. He drifts away from his man all the time, and with other forwards, if they have the vision to pick him out, he's always going to be in the right position. Sometimes they don't see him, but tonight there's been 2 or 3 balls played into space when he has been loose.
Do Galway believe they can win this? Kilkenny believe they have to. Let's run on. Some progress being made here. Oh, bit of a wild pull there by David Hayes. The referee has decided. Hayes isn't too pleased, but he's going to be isolated, and his name may go into the referee's book. That's the pull there across Tommy Welch. No name taken, just a bit of a lecture. Amend your ways, young man, or else. James McGarry has come out of goal to hit this one. Well, DJ hit the last one from just a little bit closer, maybe 10 metres closer. This time it's fodder for the inside forwards. Ollie Canning back there with the bright red helmet. Out it comes into the man in the middle here. That is David Collins, the freshman, into the action. Went off David Ford, I think, but it's maybe been given as a push. David Ford was coming for it, reached down, touched it, but yes, you could see quite plainly that Peter Barry was up on top of him.
Galway need a score or two, and they haven't scored for quite a while now. They're playing into a stiffish wind, and Kilkenny really are just going about their business nice and easy at the moment. They're very relaxed and just drifting away from Galway. So it's up to Galway to impose themselves. They don't look to be able to win any possession around the half-hour line at the moment.
Well, the referee Dermot Kerwin, who's based in Cork, it's strong off-league connections. Once Martin Comerford back an extra few metres. Fergal Moore whipping it in. Galway needing a score. Spills loose. Good control. Nicely exerted there by Ken Coogan. Close to the end line, and in the end the umpire, a bit late, but he finally does put up the hand, signalling a 65.
I know we've talked about it already, Ger, but Brian Cody is like a man possessed tonight. He's like an extra man for Kilkenny. He's around the field, he's on the pitch, there he's gone in behind the goals again. He's actually covering every inch of the pitch there, and he's non-stop, and he's encouraging the players. And I've never seen him. He's generally a big presence on the sideline, but he's very, very fired up today.
I tell you what, Michael, I don't envy managers nowadays the pressure they are under. The referee is in to Brian Cody to tell him to get away from the goal line. He wants him away to the right of the pictures you're watching. There he is. Brian Cody being sent away by referee Dermot Kerwin. They had strong words before, at least Brian had, before the end of the first half.
He's coming back again for more.
It's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
It's the best match of the day between Brian Cody and the ref so far.
Meanwhile, Eugene Cloonan striking it over, no difficulty. None of the histrionics from Cloonan. 5 points he scored, all of them coming from frees. Well, we talked about the pressure that Donal O'Grady and Ken Hogan were under yesterday in Killarney, and clearly Brian Cody is under that same kind of pressure. And I'm sure, even though he's handling it in a different manner, Conor Hayes is under exactly the same personal pressure, internal pressure to try and make sure his team performs. Performing now is Martin Comerford. Still battling away there with David Collins and winning the free for Kilkenny. Brilliant catch there by Comerford. He's such a difficult man to deal with. Has this enormously tall, big physique. Mind you, he was once nicknamed, perhaps it still goes with him, Goethe. Mention of big strong men. How about Henry Shefflin here, the man on the 40 striking. Oh, he makes it look absolutely routine, but gradually Kilkenny are building a lead and Galway seem powerless to eat into it.
Yeah, and Jerry, you know, the one time Kilkenny were beaten was against Wexford, and the reason for it was that Wexford varied their puck-outs, they isolated men, they played low ball out. If you play high balls on top of that half-back line, you've got no chance. And the lead up possession. As I speak, Kevin Broderick is through.
He certainly is. Great run. It's got support here. It's a goal! It's the goal they've needed, and it's Damien Hayes who's got it. 9.5 minutes into the second half. After Broderick's fantastic run through the heart of the Kilkenny cover, Kilkenny left wide open. Broderick laying it off to Hayes. The little dart inside Noel Hickey, and a screaming shot past James McGarry. There are 3 points between them. Early stages of the second half. Galway will get renewed heart, and now a bigger challenge for Kilkenny. But what about the response from Eddie Brennan? He fires it over at the other end. His second point of the night, and it's 112-1-8.
Great passage of play, classic wing forward play by Kevin Broderick. Onto the break, straight through, and get the pass in time. Great vision, and Damien Hayes had an easy finish.
You always felt that there were goals in that Galway inside forward line. Only one so far. An earlier effort stopped by James McGarry. Pressure back on Tommy Welch over there in the corner. Damien Hayes is after him again. Walsh is there. And in the end, it's a foul by Adrian Cullinan. And it's going to be a free downfield to Kilkenny. Oh, it's some battle. Titanic clash. Cullinan coming across there. Tommy Walsh was on his hands and knees. This is the goal again. Broderick's layoff, inch perfect. The little dart inside past Hickey, and the screaming drive in beyond McGarry. Pressure once again on the backs, Galway backs. Being twisted and turned. Lots of protests, but the referee nonplussed. Free in. That time very good work by Conor Phelan.
The way Kilkenny have lifted it, you know, the goal goes in, immediately they score a point, and then they win, you know, 2 points back straight away.
That is the absolute heartbreaker, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a sign of champions, though. You know, they've been in these positions before, and they responded there immediately.
Henry Shefflin, 5 frees taken, 5 frees converted. This to put 5 points between them. Not quite 12 minutes gone in the second half. Dull evening in Thurles. Exciting fair on offer. Above the crowd, into the field beyond, and Henry has now got another one. His total, a goal and 7 points. Just watch this once again here, as we see Conor Phelan trying to make some headway, and he was being dragged around there by Derek Hardiman. The clash there involving James Ryle. Galway trying to threaten, and the referee sees a foul by Peter Barry, and it's going to be a free from 45 metres out for the tribesmen. Once again, it's Eugene Clunan, the battle of the 2 free takers between Henry Shefflin and Eugene Clunan. Not too many missed opportunities. That was the lead into that. 5 from 7 so far for Eugene Clunan. That's now 6 from 8. All of his 6 points coming from frees. So it's a 4-point game. A vital passage in the game, in particular for Galway now, to dig in deep, to force maybe a degree of uncertainty into the minds of Kilkenny players, mentors and fans. They need to impose themselves on last year's champions. We'll have Mark Kearns coming in very shortly for Galway. Right now they build in the centre. Pressure play once again by Kilkenny and by Derry Kling. Now Shefflin's about. Laid off here towards Ken Coogan. Chance of a point. Drops just to the right, and he didn't look all that terribly confident, but he was under a bit of pressure from David Collins as he was striking. David Tierney's gone off. Coming on, Mark Kearns. It certainly wasn't Tierney's night. Didn't make an impact. So that's a total of 3 substitutions made, and subs introduced by Galway. Donoghue, left-sided stroke once again, down into the half forwards. And that time some holding. Peter Barry is bundled over unceremoniously, and the referee, I think, will have a word with the man who's just come in, Mark Kearns. Referee just warning him about that. No card. He's going to throw the ball in and cancel out the free that he had awarded. Silly action by Mark Kearns.
Absolutely, Jerry. It's ridiculous. They would have brought him back to 3 points, and an easy free 45 yards out, and he goes and overreacts. Just have to come down the field maybe a little bit fired up, but silly at this level.
Damien Hayes trying to battle once again with Tommy Walsh. He's been finding it difficult because Walsh is such an assured and polished campaigner.
Galway are improving though, Jerry. I feel if they can get back to, get another score or two, Kilkenny might, start to doubt themselves a little bit. Haven't been better last day. And if Galway keep plugging away and believing themselves, they're still right in this game.
Nicely cut. Whipped in. Everybody's after it. Cullinan had a chance. Comes back to James Ryle. And Ryle with the clearance for Kilkenny, the number 2. Way downfield. Dangerous moments for the Cats. They will have felt that they were in good command of this match, in charge of major portions of the field, but Galway are battlers. Watch this ball again by David Hayes, cut in there brilliantly, and Adrian Cullinan was the man who very nearly got Galway's second goal. Good save.
The second good save James McGarry's had. Galway could have had another couple of goals at this stage.
It's an awful shame the other teams of the championship have goalkeepers. He should be an all-star by now. Doesn't ever seem to get the recognition. Pressure on once more, and Shefflin's away. He goes for the point. Wise course of action by Henry Shefflin. A goal and 8 for the master. He's so strong, so physically assured. Lovely balance. I'm sure he must have thought about cutting inside and injecting pace and going for a goal, but he was quite content to tap it over the bar. Ken Coogan trying to break it down. Whipped forward by David Ford, the centre-half forward of Galway. The tussle there involving Tommy Walsh. What a great game he's playing against Damien Hayes, even though Hayes has scored a goal and 2. But then it's been that kind of match. Great cameo performances all around the place. And it's going to be a line ball for Kilkenny. Diarmuid Cloonan giving out yards to the referee. Diarmuid, the guard, based in Ennis.
Yeah, he did look to be fouled there, though, Jerry. You'd wonder, did Brian Cody's few words to the ref at half-time maybe unnerve him a little bit, because there's been a couple of decisions. None of them have been that blatant, but certainly you felt there was a free out there, and, 1 or 2 decisions like that can turn a game.
Henry Shefflin's got a goal and 7, goal and 8. He's 9 from 10 frees, as it were. This time the free is a line ball. Cuts across dangerously. Still possibilities for Kilkenny. Diarmuid Cloonan's in there, and so too was Conor Phelan. Phelan's grounded. Referee says, let's have a little word with you. And the big man himself, Diarmuid Cloonan, been spoken to for that. The referee indicating just what he will and what he won't tolerate. No card, but the free will give Kilkenny a chance to stretch their lead again. There's Conor Phelan going down. Hardiman was about, but it's the man, number 3, that the referee was having words with. 5 points between them. 18 minutes now into the second half. slight delay there was because of an injury to one of the Kilkenny players, Martin Comerford. He's okay. Henry Shefflin will take 20 metres out. The bookies wouldn't even take your money on this one. He goes for a goal! Oh my goodness me! Henry Shefflin, 18.5 minutes to virtually wrap it up. Kilkenny fans will fail. He's got 2 goals and 8. In beyond Damien Joyce on the line. There was just a gap, the merest glimmer for Henry to hit into. The kind of thing that Paul Flynn does for Waterford, Henry does here, and he widens out the margin to 2-14 to 1-9. Now it's a huge task for Galway. It will demand a massive effort. Time is against them.
Sure, that's probably it now. That's the insurance score. But I was saying it there a minute ago. There was definitely a free out just before that free that was given to Kilkenny. Next thing they get the ball, get the goal. You know, they're going to pull away now.
And Richie Mullally turning it on. As you say, little decisions by the referee can go against you when they do. And a strong team very often benefits. And Brian Cody can breathe a sigh of relief. This is the ball back here to Richie Mullally. This is the last point. It was Richie's first. And in the middle it's Mullally again. Kilkenny turning on the style. I mentioned that this might have been a critical stage for Galway, but it's Kilkenny who've seized the initiative. Donoghue's clearance down to Cullinan. Racing at right half forward, now back towards right half back. Nobody back there except Derek Ling. Nice turn, sweeping it back down. Good play here by Tony O'Gregan. Now at centre half back, remember. Richie Mullally under pressure. First time forward there. Again, Kilkenny always seem to have extra players back to help out. James Ryle this time. Kilkenny would look to have booked their place in the quarterfinals of the championship, but there's still time for Galway, but they're going to need vital scores as Broderick steps out over the sideline. Line ball to Kilkenny. They've established a fine lead of a goal and 6. Remember, in the draw which comes up after this match, live on the Sunday game, there will be Cork from yesterday, Antrim the Ulster champions, Kilkenny if they win, and it'll be either Offaly or Clare who meet next weekend. Was that ball out? The legs were. The match being played in front of an attendance of 21,855 watching as Conor Phelan steps into the breach, and they're all enjoying the party. It's something of a carnival now for Kilkenny. After that goal by Damien Hayes, 9 minutes into the second half, Kilkenny took off. They had answers everywhere and anywhere. And that's the latest score. Phelan's first. The only one of the forwards to start the match not to score for Kilkenny is Jimmy Coogan. And here he is. In fact, it's Richie Mullally, beg your pardon. Runs on here towards Henry Shefflin. Trying to dribble his way around there was David Collins. Ryle thundering forward. Hit down there well beyond Eddie Brennan. Now it's Coogan. Stop by Ollie Canning. Is this to be another day of disappointment for the Galway captain? The Portumna man. Galway county champions last year. Bounces away up there. Stopped again by Peter Barry. Kilkenny mean business. Ominous for all the other teams left in the championship. Stopped by Diarmuid Cloonan. Hurley's flying. The referee says free in. And there you have Wexford as the Leinster champions and Waterford as the Munster champions, already into the semi-final of this year's championship, and they must be looking over their shoulders. Cork are going to be there. Kilkenny, I think, are going to be there.
Yeah, the one thing about Galway's display today, you would have expected them, to try to vary their puckouts a little bit. Apart from the one break where Kevin Broderick broke onto the ball, to be completely, the Kilkenny half-back line had been completely dominant. And putting high balls down between Kevin Broderick and Richard Mullally, there's only going to be one winner there. It's not Kevin Broderick's fault. He just hasn't got the physical size.
So it's Henry Shefflin again. 2 goals and 9 now. You would have thought also, Michael, that Galway would have learned some of the lessons from the Kilkenny-Wexford match as to how Wexford approached the attacking ploy. In particular, the passes into the corner, trying to open up the Kilkenny defence, never really happened tonight.
That's right, played an awful lot of ground hurling Wexford did, and Wexford wouldn't have been known for ground hurling over the years, but they've brought that into their game now, and when you're playing a team like Kilkenny who are so strong at the back, you have to move the ball on the ground and move it in fast and open up, bring their half-back line out the field and make room inside. It's easier said than done, but you think Galway would have learned from that and tried to play a similar type of a game.
Mark Kearns in that, and you think about Mark Kearns within seconds of coming on, committing a foul after Galway had won a free, that had cut the lead back to 3, and now here they are behind by a wide margin. On such things can games turn. This is a great run by JJ Delaney in towards Shefflin, might be touched even in, back to Shefflin, got away from his man Tony O'Green, and he puts it over.
An exhibition from Shefflin. What a player. Every skill in the book, and great vision as well, great free taker. What can he do when he's on form like this?
I have to start a new line on my page for Shefflin's score. It's down at 2-10. Martin Comerford is coming off the Kilkenny team, and the player who's going on is John Hoyne. Hoyne, one of the men from the All-Ireland success last September. Kilkenny beating Cork that day. New season, new story, new challenges. And a challenge is what Kilkenny relish. Noel Hickey. Way down again, stopped by the other number 3, this time Diarmuid Cloonan. But it's almost like a damage limitation exercise from a Galway point of view. They look deflated. Just look at Derek Hardyman here. Does he believe that with 10 minutes to go they can still win this? Kilkenny lead by double scores.
He'd be some optimist if he did, Ger, at this stage. I don't think Kilkenny are going to give away a 12-point lead.
Again, comes back into Galway possession. David Hayes this time. They had that great run in the league, went to the league final, beat Waterford in that, but then had a gap until they played this match here. I know they played down in the intervening period, but it wasn't a strong enough challenge for them, even though they weren't particularly wonderful that night by all accounts. But there is this step up in class when they come up against the Kilkennys of this world. Game played at a faster pace. Here you come again. Once again, it's Derek Ling. Brilliant in midfield, down towards DJ Carey, touching it down, waiting for players to come and receive. John Hoyne is in there now, remember, wearing the number 22. The clearance is by Fergal Moore. Great catch, Peter Barry. Again, lording it and linking up well at centre-half back. James Ryle was fouled. Let's watch again here this wonderful catch taken by Peter Barry, who's gluing the half-back line together, and there's simply no way through.
And James Ryle has shown, maybe Michael Kavanagh, probably the best cornerback in the game for the last 5 or 6 years, can make the Kilkenny team, and James Ryle has shown a big improvement on his form of last year.
He looks a more confident man. So DJ Carey, the free taker, lobs it in, didn't make a good connection. I'm sure he went out there to try and hit it over the bar. Diarmuid Cloonan out to his man in the corner, Ollie Canning. Mark Kearns now. Comes up here towards Eugene Cloonan. Stopped easily by Peter Barry. He's having a very good second half, but then they all are. Tommy Walsh has been superb all through. Towards John Hoyne, spills away from him. Shefflin just about keeping it in play. Almost playing hockey with it here in Semple Stadium, if that's allowed. Ball still in, the linesman as close as possible. Everybody's expecting a line ball. The ball was still in, guys. In the end, the referee says there was a foul. He indicts Henry, and it's going to be a free out to Galway. Important thing here is that the ball stays in. All of the ball stays in. Henry was nursing it along.
That ball was out, definitely out of chance. Galway seem to be working that bit hard to win it free, or I think Brian Cody's after unsettling everybody down there on the sideline.
Are you saying it was just a heat of the moment thing, Michael, or did he have it as a policy?
No, I wouldn't think it was a policy. No. Brian Cody wouldn't be like, he'd be a pure hurling man. I think he was very annoyed about one incident where there was a free given against Kilkenny, and then the goal just before half-time that clearly wasn't a Ollie Canning trip himself, and Eddie Brennan got through for the goal and was disallowed. So.
Because Brian Cody is one of the most sporting people I've ever come across in this game.
Oh, absolutely. He's a pure hurler, and he wouldn't go out with that intention, but it certainly seems to, a few decisions have gone Kilkenny's way in the second half, and you take whatever you can. One decision going your way at this level can make all the difference.
It's like a gale force wind blowing one direction, and Eddie Brennan, helped by the breeze, has stormed in for goal number 3 for the Cats. Good night, Galway. Adios. "29 minutes are gone, and wave after attack. Quite honestly, at this stage, it could finish with any scoreline you like."
We're always harping on about the ground hurling here, but there again, first time pull on the ball gives the forward that extra half a yard.
There's JJ Delaney. They're so adaptable, they can slot into any roles you like. Cornerback, wingback, doesn't matter. They've got all the skills, all the craft.
And also, Joe, what they have is the fight for any ball. The Kilkenny backs get the ball, they just clear it as long as they can. They're not worried about low balls or high balls. They tuck it in, and the forwards fight for everything in the air.
David Hayes whipping it way down. Back there is Richie Mullally. Kilkenny again hold on with Conor Phelan this time. Beyond John Hoyne. Hoyne fancies a chance of a score. 3 against 2 back there. Galway there in numbers. The ball will be thrown in. About 5 minutes remaining. And Kilkenny will be in the draw. Cork will be in the draw. Antrim will be in the draw. And the combination of Offaly and Clare there as well to determine what will be the quarter-final pairings. Those matches due up on Sunday fortnight. Part of our double bill on the Sunday game that day. Eugene Cloonan missed last year, or most of it. Ryle flapping at it. But it's one of those days when all the 50-50s are going Galway's way, and Ken Coogan is back to help out James Ryle. And whatever little sniff of danger there was is absolutely averted. Brennan, one of the goal scorers, touched away by Coogan, still hasn't scored. DJ in the middle of all of that lost his stick. Good battling performance by Tommy Welch, has come out to half-back now. Driven back once more there by Tony O'Gregan to Eugene Cloonan. Just a case of adding a few extra scores from a Galway point of view for the record books and indeed for tomorrow's newspapers. But there is no doubt, Kilkenny from the word go, they've looked the sharper, they've been up for it. That's a great catch. Brilliantly done by Conor Phelan. Kilkenny with an under-21 star like Phelan from last year, when of course they beat Galway in the final. Galway have some dreadful memories of playing Kilkenny at all underage levels, right up to senior. And Conor Hayes trying to change the trend, not easy.
And Conor Phelan has been a big addition, Jared, today. You just mentioned him there, big addition. He's won an awful lot of possession.
And they're still pressurising. Nice one, nicely over by Eddie Brennan. He's got a goal on 3. 3:19 to 1:9. Watch this again. The real clash here between two very, very much informed players.
Sure, can I just say a quick hello to The camogie players and young hurlers down in Portroe and North Tipperary. I was down there last Friday in a summer camp, about 100 of them there, and I said I'd say hello to them today. So the best wishes to them all.
And if they're watching, watch Kilkenny. This is how to play. Galway haven't scored for 20 minutes. Brennan inside. Hoyne! Boom! It's 4. John Hoyne.
Great vision again, Ger. Watch the little flick here. Brilliant ball inside. Very well finished.
Poor Liam Donoghue, beaten by John Hoyne, the substitute. He's got a point to prove.
Just shows the type of game hurling is. Galway came here full of hope that everyone said 50-50, you know. Next they're going to go out beating 20 points or more.
They also said, Michael, in fairness to all the experts, they were wondering what kind of Galway team was going to turn up. Is it the one that won the league and showed they had potential, or is it the one that tends to fall when they're really put under pressure like this and they have the opportunity and fail to rise to the challenge?
I don't think anyone expected, you know, even a bad Galway performance, I'd imagine they would have been right in it, but to be beaten like this, you know, just 19-20 points in it at this stage.
Cloonan might as well go for it because they're being hammered anyway. 7 points for Eugene Cloonan. The scoring chances created in the match, Kilkenny have created 30 scoring chances. Brian Cody will be delighted with that. They've taken 23. When you take 23 out of 30 scoring chances, that is some performance. By comparison, Galway created 17 and took 11. From a Galway point of view, the fourth official is being merciful. Only 1 extra minute to be played after the 70. DJ leaving this one for Richie Mullally. Well, the night when he is celebrating playing 50 times in the championship for Kilkenny, the team that he has played so wonderfully well all through the 90s and now into this new decade, new century. It's DJ and his colleagues who are enjoying themselves at Semple Stadium in front of 21 and the nearly 22,000 people. Oh, they were waiting for it. Conor Phelan was responding. It's a bad pass by Conor Phelan straight to Tony O'Gregan, but we're into the extra minute of additional time. And Kilkenny are leading it by 3 goals and 9, 18 points between them. Galway are furious. And the ball has been brought to within 20 metres of the Kilkenny goal. They're not pleased with the referee and some of his calls. But then bear in mind that Kilkenny weren't too pleased earlier on when a goal was disallowed before half-time. That's the tussle there between Fergal Moore and DJ Carey, and Fergal threw the Purley away in disgust. Yellow card for Moore. One of 2 Galway men to be booked. Henry scored from a goal earlier on, but I'm sure he will probably tap it over. Henry is 8 from 8 from frees, is 9 from 9 now. He has scored 2 goals and 11 points in a hurling match which Kilkenny have absolutely dominated. You think of the great Matty Ford performance last night when Wexford beat Offaly in football, and Matty scored, I think it was 2-10, something like 2-7 coming from play. Henry's got 2-11. They're 2 of the stars of the weekend. And it's Kilkenny who still mean business with J.J. Delaney. Only a few seconds left. Brennan was trying to touch it on. Liam Donoghue with the final puck of the match. Kilkenny have won the qualifier, disposing of the Galway challenge in ruthless fashion. They have dominated all areas of the field. They built up a huge winning margin. They're through to the quarterfinals. Brian Cody is relieved. He's pleased. His team has done the business. Beaten in Leinster. They're still going for the 3 in a row in the All-Ireland hunt. As we go down to very shortly get some words from the manager, but the full-time score shows Kilkenny winning by 4-20 to Galway's 1-10. Here's Con Murphy.
Thanks very much, Ger. Brian, an incredible performance.
It was a good performance. You know, we got beaten by Wexford in the Leinster semi-final, and that put us into the qualifiers, and there's no second chance from here on in, so you know, we worked very hard. A lot of questions were asked of the players after the last day. The only thing I'd say the whole time, I'll always defend is big question, had the players the hunger? The players had the hunger. There's no doubt about that, and I think they finished all those questions tonight. But look, we're in the quarter-final, and we want to be in that draw tonight. We're in it, and whatever it throws up is going to be a massive battle again. But we're there still, and we'll be fighting to keep going.
You had the look, your team had the look of a team that were wounded by that defeat against Wexford, and they were really firing right from the off today.
Yeah, well, like I said, we worked very hard, and you know, we love playing. They love playing, they love training, and obviously, like every player, they love winning. And it was a, you know, it was a blow, obviously, and a big disappointment to lose to Wexford. But I mean, Wexford deserved to win on the day. There was no point in us pretending otherwise. They played like a team that wanted to win, and we didn't raise the tempo of our game, so we had to guard against that today. And we were playing a huge team today, a team who won the league championship, the league final, and you know, to have a chance of winning, we had to play. But thank God we did.
Okay, I think for your safety, Brian, we'll hand back to Gerard. Thanks a million.
Brian Cody is delighted. Everybody was saying going into this weekend that these were two key matches. The game yesterday in Killarney, the game today. As a result of all of that, we've seen that Cork and Kilkenny are back in business, and the message to the champions of Munster Waterford and Leinster champions Wexford is beware.